Good evening, everyone. I've just watched the movie War Machine on Netflix with the actor Alan Ritchson and Dennis Quaid. Ritchson, you maybe know from the series. My brain is a little bit slow. Reacher, which is actually a good series. Although let me rephrase that, because I really liked the first season. I didn't like the second season. Third season was also okay. So I don't want to call it a really good series because the movies with Tom Cruise were great. The series was okay from if you take all of that in consideration. But I do think Alan Ritchson is a really cool actor, and he just brought out or is starring in the movie War Machine on Netflix. And I just wanted to give you a quick review about that movie because I actually enjoyed it quite a lot. Maybe let's start. Is it actually a unique and good movie? It's probably not if you have really high standards on movie. It's definitely just some form of like action, entertainment, popcorn style, having a good time, basically. It's not going to blow your mind or anything. It's basically war movie combined with Predator combined with Metal Gear Solid, the video game, basically. So our protagonist has a very, let's say, tragic event happening in the beginning, and therefore he signs up to become a ranger. And then they have this training mission, and an alien invasion basically starts. That is the premise of the movie. And again, it's not something mind-blowing, something new. But what I really want to emphasize, and I'm not sure if this is a positive for the movie or a negative for me, who unfortunately, when it comes down to movies, has a low attention span, especially with all of the new movies that come out. There aren't that many movies coming out nowadays where I'm actually really hooked and not kind of tempted to grab my phone or my retro gaming device and doing something on the side. And that is, again, you could either see it as negative on my part or a positive thing for this movie. Because when I watched this movie, I was actually fairly entertained and I was hooked watching the movie. I actually went in this movie intentionally. Okay, I'm not going to grab my phone. I'm going to watch this. But I did not have to force myself not to grab the phone, which again, I think is unfortunately nowadays a good quality for a movie. Again, it's not saying that this is a really unique movie and a really good movie, but I can say it is actually entertaining. The visual effects were also good. That is definitely something that I've seen in newer movies, and unfortunately in series where you would kind of assume that it is really high budgeted. For example, Star Wars, where the CGI is so bad that it takes you out of your experience of whatever you might be watching. And I have to say, with this movie, I actually felt, okay, this is good. And then there are some gory scenes, and that's why I'm saying in the beginning, this is a war movie, an anti-war. Though it does glorify the military, obviously, because if you don't know, if you do specific things that somewhat glorify the military, at least in USA, the movie does get some support from the military. But it does a really good job in portraying that war isn't great, because the death and the way some people get injured is very graphic. Think a little bit like Private Ryan. Private Ryan to me is a prime example of an anti-war movie, which makes it so for me an anti-war movie doesn't kind of gloss over the horrific things that happen in war, and it balances it out quite well in terms of heroism and the effects of war. So Private Ryan is a perfect example of, okay, we shouldn't have wars. This is somewhat balanced, but at least it does a really good job at being very graphic in some of the things that are happening during war. So with that, it sounds stupid to say I was captivated by that kind of stuff, but it kept me hooked to the movie. There's also a scene where, without spoiling too much, something's happening to the whole battalion, and many people get injured, and you're sitting there and like, oh, holy crap, this is intense. I've never seen this kind of scene play out that way, and that felt very unique. And stuff like that, where realism and CGI are working well together, it captivates the viewer instead of kind of, as I said, when you have something where the CGI is bad, you kind of zone out and then you grab for your phone. And I felt like this movie did a really good thing. That being said, toward the end part, there are a lot of CGI scenes where I can say it's the whole scene by itself, not the CGI. Yes, you can see it as green screen at some part, but it was so fast paced that it wasn't kind of taking me out. What rather took me out is some of the levels of unbelievability that is close to Fast and Furious style. I mean, you probably will notice when you watch the film which scene I mean. It's towards the end where it's like, what the hell's going on? This is kind of stupid. But overall, it was okay for me, this one part that it was a little bit over the top. So overall, I would say, because I was really captivated in watching the movie and not wanting to grab my phone, I can recommend it. Again, it's not mind-blowing. It's nothing special or new or something that brings new things to the table. Again, it's a mix of a war movie, Predator, and Metal Gear Solid. It's okay. The way it ends is also the way obviously the protagonist wins, of course, and how he defeats his opponent is also actually quite unique. Not unique in a way that you wouldn't think of it, but I haven't seen a movie approach it that way, and I thought that was really cool. So without spoiling too much now and telling you too much, I would say it is definitely worth watch. I would not have watched this in movies, so paying a ticket price. But if you already subscribed to Netflix, then I think it's worth a watch. It's actually quite entertaining. So yeah, War Machine on Netflix. I would say watch it. From the entertainment factor, I would definitely say 5 out of 5. Overall, in terms of storytelling, because it's nothing new, my score would be a little bit lower. So in general, those scores combined, I would say it's a 4 out of 5. Definitely worth watching and entertaining. Yeah, if you have seen War Machine on Netflix, let me know what you think about this movie. And yeah, maybe check out one of my other movie or entertainment things review, for example, like the Harry Potter full cast audiobook review that I did. Watch it up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And please subscribe or consider subscribing to this channel. That would help out a lot by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.